Hi guys, it's Alan Girl and I'm back, and today we're checking out 7 ways British and American television are really different. I'm getting this one from Girl Gone London, link in the description below. Please go over and show her some love. We're going to dive right into this one. Welcome, welcome one and all, because I want to see the ways that British TV is different from US TV. Here we go right about now.
American TV is seemingly everywhere, even in the UK. The Simpsons and Friends, the glitz of American game shows, the endless churn of police procedurals, and the sense that somehow the world's biggest stories are always being told with American accents.
Okay.
But British TV is its own special universe and much more universally beloved in the country, especially by older generations.
Okay.
It's smaller, stranger, sometimes slower. It's the dry wit of Blackadder, the delightful weirdness of Doctor Who, and the comfort of a bake-off tent in a rainy field. To understand British versus American television, let's start at the beginning. We always do. In the 1930s, television was a technological marvel, but it was also a blank slate. In Britain, the BBC launched the world's first regular TV service in 1936. It was a public service funded by a license fee, a tax paid by every household with a TV. The BBC's mission was clear: to inform, educate, and entertain. In practice, that meant a lot of Shakespeare, news bulletins, and lectures. Television was seen as an extension of the classroom, a tool for national improvement. In America, things were different from the start. Commercial networks like NBC and CBS saw television as a business. Where have we heard this before when it comes to America? The goal wasn't to educate, but to attract the largest possible audience and then sell that audience to advertisers. The result was a system built on ratings, sponsorships, and the relentless pursuit of mass appeal. If the BBC was a school teacher in that time, American TV was a carnival. And this difference, public service versus commercial enterprise, would shape everything that followed. After World War II, television exploded. In the US, TV ownership soared from less than 1% of households in 1946 to over 90% by 1960.
Ouch.
In Britain, the numbers were smaller, but the impact was just as profound. The coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953 was watched by 20 million people, more than half the population. For many, it was the first time they'd ever seen television. But even as TV became a fixture in both countries, the differences in funding and philosophy only grew. In Britain, the BBC remained dominant, funded by the license fee and insulated from commercial pressures. When ITV launched in 1955 as the first commercial channel in the UK, it was tightly regulated. Advertising was limited, and the new channel was required to provide news, arts, and regional programming.
So you can see the total difference between the two. American TV, it's like a frenzy. It's a money-making machine. British TV, when it comes down to them, say we're regulating certain things. People need to. It's like it might sound weird, and I'm not taking it back. The dumb becomes dumber, and the smart becomes. I'm sorry, guys, but that's how I see it. It's like inform, educate, rubbish, and sell. Money, 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 money. Two different scale on every angle when you talk about TV. When it comes, two different scale.
It was to introduce competition without sacrificing quality or public service.
In America,
by contrast, the networks were locked into a ratings war. The three big networks, NBC, CBS, and ABC, competed to attract the biggest stars, the most popular shows, and the highest ad dollars. The result was a golden age of entertainment. I Love Lucy, The Twilight Zone, The Ed Sullivan Show. But it was also an age of conformity. Shows were designed to offend no one, to appeal to everyone, to keep viewers watching through the next commercial break. And here's where the first big cultural difference emerges. In Britain, TV was something you watched together, as a family, as a nation. There were only two channels, and everyone saw the same shows at the same time. In America...
Hold on. There were only two channels. Everyone saw the same thing at the same time. It was more family-oriented in a sense because you say everybody could sit down and watch TV together. This was how the UK did it. Now you're going to see again how the US did it. It's a separation of time with family. It wasn't just two stations. And the breakdown you're going to see from kids to your teens to the grab adult, the older age, and yeah.
But with dozens of stations and a vast country to cover, TV was more fragmented, more regional, more individual. The way TV is paid for is kind of at the heart of these differences. In Britain, the license fee, currently over £150 per year, remains the primary source of funding for the BBC. Every household with a TV is legally required to pay it as long as they watch live TV, regardless of whether they watch live BBC channels. The money goes directly to the BBC, hypothetically insulating it from government interference and commercial pressures, though you'll find many who suggest that the BBC is the mouthpiece of the government at the time. But the ultimate result is a broadcaster that can afford to take risks, to invest in long-term projects, and to serve more minority audiences. ITV and Channel 4, the main commercial broadcasters, are also regulated to ensure a mix of programming. Channel 4, launched in 1982, is publicly owned but commercially funded. Its remit is to provide innovative alternative programming, and it's required to reinvest all profits into new content. This has led to groundbreaking shows like Queer as Folk, Black Mirror, and Gogglebox. In the US, the commercial model dominates. Networks and cable channels live and die by ratings. Advertising revenue is king, and shows are constantly under pressure to deliver big audiences. This has led to a focus on genres that attract mass viewership: crime dramas, medical shows, and reality competitions. Public broadcasting, or PBS in the US, receives less than 15% of its funding from the federal government historically, with the rest coming from donations and corporate sponsors. As a result, PBS is a niche player. It's not a national institution in the same way the BBC is. The result is in the UK, the BBC is trusted by 70% of the public, while in the US, trust in TV news is much lower, and public broadcasting is a small part of the landscape.
Trust in TV news in the US is a no-no. No-no. Like zil. Public funding when it comes on to, and listen to the amount when it comes on to PBS. Look, but the diversity when it comes on to crime, reality, drama, the whole 9 yard, an advertisement that caters to young, old, they want everybody to buy. When you sit down and think about it, guys, when you sit here and watch TV, it's crazy when you think about it. Yes, you see more ads than how long. I said this the other day. There's more ads than how long that program is. It's the ad that make that program drown out. And rating is that's a number one killer, because if nobody is not watching, you're out. Even if the program is educational, even if it's good for you, you're gone. Zil. Knocked out if anybody is not watching it. And I realize here in the US, it's chaos. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Let's continue.
British TV has traditionally been built around the watershed, a 9 p.m. cutoff after which more adult content can be shown. This creates a clear distinction between family viewing and late-night programming. In the US, there's no national watershed.
Nope.
The FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, regulates content during hours when children are likely to be watching. The UK's smaller number of channels also has historically meant that big shows become national events. The finale of Only Fools and Horses in 1996 was watched by over 24 million people, nearly half the population again. In the US, with hundreds of channels and a much larger population, even the biggest shows rarely reach more than 10% of households these days. And this difference shapes the way in which TV...
That's crazy. Can you look at that? Look at the Fools and Horses finale. So many people tune in. In America, less than 10% if a show is even big, because it's not reaching the household. How crazy is that? And look, you have the after dark program for adults when they come on to the UK. Listen to me, man. In America, no, it's not catered to know when they think no kids are. No. The things I see on TV, even when they think kids are asleep, don't make no sense. Or when they think kids should be asleep, it goes on right around the clock throughout the day. There's no regulation whatsoever. I'm not buying that crap. No way, no how. Not here. Maybe in another America, but not this one.
TV is experienced. But the rise of streaming has also changed this. We have to acknowledge that. Both British and American viewers these days can binge watch entire seasons at their own pace. The water cooler moment is less about what was on last night and more about what's trending on Netflix or Amazon Prime. In Britain, most TV shows are written by a single writer or a small team. Seasons are short, often just 6 to 8 episodes, and shows are allowed to end. Fawlty Towers ran for just 12 episodes. The original Office, just 14. There's a sense that less is more, that stories should know when to stop, and that awkwardness and silence can be as powerful as a punchline. The tradition goes back to the BBC's roots in theatre.
Less is more. There's an end to a storyline. Awkwardness means the silence. It's okay. I like that. 12 episodes. Guys, I like that. I really do. Because there are times when you're watching and it's like a never ending. Days of Our Life. I remember watching this as a kid and I'm thinking it's still on. I haven't seen this in a hot minute and I can guarantee this is still running. Listen, there's so many. The more I think about it, that it's so drawn out here in the US. I'm like, okay, we can find something fresh and new. We can put this one to sleep now. I like that idea. So to me, when you do it like that, it makes people yearn for more. I will go back and watch the replays.
Theater and radio, where the writer was king. It's why British TV can feel more like a novel or a play, tightly written, carefully structured, with a clear voice. In America, by contrast, shows are written by large teams of writers. Seasons can run for 22 episodes or more, and successful shows are renewed year after year, sometimes for decades. The logic is simple. If people like something, give them more of it. Keep the story going. The difference in structure leads to a difference in tone. American TV is aspirational. It's about people who chase dreams, who reinvent themselves, who believe that anything is possible. Even the comedies are about hope. Think of Leslie in Parks and Recreation, or the endless optimism of Ted Lasso, which, ironically, is a British story told by Americans. British TV is different. It's about limits, about people who can't escape their circumstances, about the comedy of disappointment.
Reality.
It's a world where the joke is often on you and the happy ending is never guaranteed. American TV excels at spectacle. Big budget dramas, glossy productions, reality competitions with million-dollar prizes. British TV, by contrast, is often smaller, it's more intimate, and it's more focused on character than plot. A single episode of Game of Thrones cost more than an entire season of Downton Abbey. But British TV has always punched above its weight, producing global hits like Doctor Who, Sherlock, and The Crown. And when it comes to drama, British drama is often rooted in realism, social commentary, and ambiguity. Shows like Broadchurch, Happy Valley, and Line of Duty explore moral complexity and the messiness of real life. American drama, even at its best messiness, tends towards resolution, redemption, and clear moral lines. Those shows like The Wire and Breaking.
There's always a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. There's always a happy ending. There's always, and you know, funny, my son said something to me the other day, and he's like, why is it the villain never win in the end? Why is it you never find a show where it don't have to, the good suffers sometimes? Because that makes more sense, Mom. And I'm like, I get it, what you're saying, but you will never get that. Not in America, somewhere else, but not here. And the more I think about it, he's right. There's always what's the word I'm looking for? There's always a lesson to be learned. And there's always a happy ending in the end. Always. And you One, don't laugh at their own expense. A joke is not turned on to who. There's no gloominess. It cannot end like there. There's hope. There's this, but on the opposite, on the other spectrum, UK is saying, listen, man, everything don't have to turn out well. It's more intimate. It's not a million and one writer. It's not this big old budget. And that is why it's so intimate. You okay? And that is why it's so intimate, and that is why more people literally tune in, and it makes it and then this dark humor and so forth for you guys, it makes sense because that is who you are as a people.
Breaking Bad have challenged that tradition some. When it comes to comedy, comedy is perhaps where the differences in American and British TV are most pronounced. American sitcoms are built on likability. Even the worst characters have redeeming qualities.
Yes.
British comedy, by contrast, is built on awkwardness and on characters who are often deeply unlikable. The humor comes from discomfort, from watching people fail, from the gap between who we are and who we wish we could be but can't.
Yep.
Now, game shows and reality TV reveal another cultural divide. British quiz shows like University Challenge, Mastermind, and Countdown are understated and often gently mocking. American game shows are bigger, louder, and more dramatic. Think Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right. They're always yelling. Someone's always yelling.
True.
And reality TV, too, takes different forms. The Great British Bake Off is about kindness and community. American reality shows are all about competition, slashing your competitor, and spectacle.
Yeah.
Even when formats cross the Atlantic, they change. American Idol is glitzier than Pop Idol. Survivor is more cutthroat than Castaway. The BBC's public service remit also has pushed it to reflect the diversity of the UK over time and has led to pioneering programming. EastEnders was one of the first soaps to feature openly gay characters and storylines about race and immigration. In the US, commercial pressures have sometimes made networks cautious about controversial topics.
Yep.
But cable and streaming have opened up new possibilities. Shows like Orange is the New Black and Atlanta have pushed boundaries and brought new voices to the screen.
Yep.
And let's do a quick run-by of children's TV, because British children's TV is a world unto itself. The BBC's CBeebies is ad-free and focuses on education, creativity, and inclusivity. Shows like Blue Peter, Grange Hill, and Teletubbies have become cultural touchstones. In the US, children's TV...
You heard what she said? It's ad-free for children. Focuses on education. Teaching these babies. Because I'm telling you, they're sponge. They take so much in at a tender age. Why not fill them with... Ooh. In the US, listen to this right now.
Is dominated by commercial networks like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, with PBS producing a smaller educational alternative. British children's TV is about learning and community. American children's TV is about entertainment and branding.
Entertainment and branding. Maybe I can count on one hand how many people watch PBS Kids here in the US. My house run on PBS Kids with my kids. So I'm gonna say you gotta learn something today. You have to learn something. Come on, you can't just sitting down and soaking in and digesting crap, commercial, cartoon, rubbish. Guys, some things I see on TV, I'm like, what is that? Take it off of the TV now. Sometimes they're like, Mommy, it's an ad. I say, oh, it better be an ad. Because no. Yeah.
Another difference is the role of regional identity. In Britain, the BBC and ITV have always had strong regional programming. Local news, regional dramas, and even accents are different. In the US, regionalism is less pronounced. Most shows are set in generic cities or in Los Angeles and New York.
Yep.
Local news is strong, that's a different topic on news, but national TV programming tends to flatten out regional differences.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, streaming has changed everything. Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus have brought American and British shows to global audiences. The line between national traditions are blurring. The Crown is a British story made with American money. Fleabag is a British comedy that became a global phenomenon thanks to Amazon. But even as the industry globalizes, the old differences persist. British TV is still more likely to take risks, to end a show after 2 seasons, and to embrace ambiguity. American TV is still chasing the next big hit, the next franchise, the next universe to expand. Now, when it comes to the business of TV, British TV, as I've mentioned, has always punched above its weight internationally. Formats like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Pop Idol, and The Office have been remade around the world. British dramas like Downton Abbey and Sherlock have huge global audiences. But the flow goes both ways. American shows dominate global markets, and British networks often buy US hits. The Simpsons, Friends, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and ER may be American shows that you're familiar with in the UK. Remakes are also a fascinating case study. Sometimes they work. The Office became a huge hit in both countries, but in very different ways. And sometimes they fail spectacularly. American versions of Fawlty Towers and The Inbetweeners never captured the original British magic. That brings me to the end of this episode. I'd love to hear your opinions on British versus American TV down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, Mama. Every time you stop and think about the differences between TV, advertisement, or ads, or what do you call it? Commercials, or between the UK and the US, you'll be like, what went wrong? What really went wrong? Because look at this with TV, when it comes on to children programming, it's to educate young minds. There's no ads at all. I'm like, what? In the US, it's the opposite side. Filled with ads, cartoon, nothing really educational. No Sesame Street, no PBS Kids. The kids aren't watching that. They just fill up these kids with heads with garbage. They're not learning anything. You have to be out there as a parent to really give yourself something, your kids something educational to take in. News cannot be trusted here in the US. Based on what she explained, people listen to the news there in the UK when it comes on to TV. You understand me? When it comes to local news, yes, in different states, I can understand that. But when then when it comes to streaming now, people don't do TV as they used to with certain things. Not to mention when they said that it used to cater to the audience where, the downtime, when kids are not on the BBC, take care of that. So when they know that kids are not up, certain things cater to the adult. Here in the US, no, I've never seen that, brother. I've never seen that. It's, to me, they don't have any form of restriction when it comes on to what they play during the day. I've never seen that. I see it anytime, anywhere. There's so many things when you stop to think about it, and ads are catered towards sucking you in more than... You don't necessarily, the game shows, reality TV, the movies, whatever it is here in the US, it's over the top. And like I said, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a rainbow. There's it's like, but on the opposite end of the spectrum in the UK, that's not it. It's like two brother, two different mind. It's that simple. That clear cut. Wow. It's the Island Girl and Run Another Day. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments section. What do you guys really think? Was she spot on or not? Love you guys to the max. Remember, her link is in the description below, so you can go over and check out her channel Undisturbed. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Tell me what you'd like me to check out next. Your girl got you. Love you all, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.